Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description.
What do you think? Paige asked. I turned my head from side to side, watching how the new extensions brushed softly against my back. I was in awe how something so simple could make me look so different. I can't believe the change, I said. Paige smiled. I'm not even finished yet. Just wait. As she continued, Aunt Monica came over, complimenting Paige on her work before letting us know she had to run a quick errand. Her leaving made me uneasy. I looked at Becky, hoping she'd say something, but she didn't seem bothered. Aunt Monica stepped out, promising to be back soon. Time flew by while Paige worked on us. She shaped and trimmed our eyebrows, then moved on to our makeup. She took her time with my eyes, lining them, adding shimmer, and brushing on mascara. Then came the lips, a glossy pink. What's the color? I asked. You like it? Paige asked with a grin. Yeah, it's called Little Girly 900. The name made me smile. It felt strangely perfect for how I was feeling. When she finished Becky's makeup, Paige moved on to my nails, cleaning, buffing, and applying short extensions. They weren't long, but they made my hands look softer, more delicate. She painted them a sparkly pink to match my lips. While doing Becky's nails, Paige and she chatted about prom dresses, something Becky couldn't stop talking about. I secretly hoped Paige would bring up her birthday again. There were questions I wanted to ask, questions I didn't quite have the courage to voice. She didn't mention it again. And I didn't push. Aunt Monica returned just as Paige was finishing up my toenails. She stood outside for a moment on her phone, then walked in, full of praise and excitement over how we looked. Of course, Becky had to get up and show off, beaming as she modeled for everyone. Aunt Monica showered her with compliments and gave me the same ones too when I stood. But the biggest affirmation didn't come from anyone's words. It came from the mirror. I looked at my reflection, and for the first time, I saw someone beautiful. Not just changed, but me. All the signs of the person I used to be were gone. Standing there was a girl named Bobby Sue, and she looked genuinely happy. They must have noticed the look on my face because they started to laugh. Becky stepped behind me, put her hands on my shoulders, and said, "Come on, sis. We've got some shopping to do." Aunt Monica settled the bill, though I tried not to think about how much she spent. I was used to my mom's $15 haircuts with tip. This was next level. It made me feel a bit guilty, but also incredibly grateful. Once we stepped outside, Aunt Monica told us our next stop. Okay, around the corner is my friend's boutique, she said. He's got the latest styles straight from New York. You both get to pick out one outfit. As we walked down the sidewalk, I couldn't believe how I felt. I was happy, really, truly happy. There was a calm joy inside me I'd never known before. No heaviness. No pressure. Just lightness. Peace. Looking like this, feeling like this, there was no reason for anyone to see me as anything other than who I was meant to be. For so long, I thought my sadness came from where I came from, the kind of life I'd grown up in. I had spent years trying to believe I had value. But that belief always slipped away. Now, for the first time, something felt different. Real. Solid. I hoped this feeling would never leave me. Care to share? Aunt Monica asked. What? You're smiling, she said with a knowing grin. You look like you're about to giggle. Nothing, I answered softly. She'd never fully understand how much her gift meant to me. And even if I tried, I couldn't find the right words to explain how deeply it touched me. Still, I offered the only words I could. Thank you. You're welcome. Aunt Monica smiled and then paused. We're here. We stopped in front of a boutique with a simple sign that read Dave's. The name seemed unusual for a women's clothing store, but I was learning to expect the unexpected with Aunt Monica. Inside, the place had charm, polished wood floors, soft lighting, and antique furniture turned into displays. It felt classy but welcoming. Aunt Monica greeted Dave with a hug and a warm smile. He clearly had great style and a joyful energy. He welcomed Becky and me with the same kindness. So, who's the birthday girl? He asked. Aunt Monica chuckled. Take a guess. And who's getting spoiled today? Dave asked, playfully waving his hands. They both are, Aunt Monica replied, just as Becky and I said, I am. Then I guess I better help you spend your aunt's money. Dave joked with a wink. Aunt Monica smiled, then turned away to take a phone call. Pick out whatever you want. Let Dave know if you need help, she said before stepping aside. Not knowing what was in style, I followed Becky as she browsed confidently. She flipped through racks of skirts and tops with a casual ease, clearly in her element. Dave followed along, pointing out designers and where the fabrics came from. Becky soaked it in. I mostly just nodded. I didn't know the first thing about any of it. When Becky pulled out a light blue miniskirt, I wasn't even sure what fabric it was made of. It looked like denim, but had a shimmer to it. She paired it with a cream-colored blouse and a soft floral top layered with a tailored jacket. What do you think? She asked. It's really pretty. To stay in theme, we should both get it, she said with a grin. I smiled and nodded. Okay. When I instinctively looked at the price tag, she batted my hand away. Nope. No price checking today. This is an Aunt Monica day. Now it was my turn to choose something. I browsed the racks while Dave quietly pulled 2 sets of the outfit Becky had picked. Becky stayed close as I searched, occasionally glancing her way for clues. There's too many pretty ones, I said. That's a good problem, Becky replied. But it's your call. Eventually, I stopped in front of a sleeveless red dress with a wide sash. Something about it caught my eye. It made me feel something. How about this? I asked. It's gorgeous. But maybe more for a special night out. She was right. Still, I didn't want to put it back. I held on to the feeling it gave me for a moment before setting it aside. Then I saw a mannequin wearing a black halter dress paired with a cropped vest and a belt with subtle leather detailing. It was stylish but simple, something that made a quiet statement. This one feels right, I said. Becky stepped next to me and gently wrapped an arm around my waist. That's a great choice. We definitely have to try that on. Dave smiled and said it was a Proenza piece. Great taste, he added, clearly pleased that he had 2 sets in our sizes. He led us to the changing area in the back of the boutique. The room was surprisingly spacious, larger than my bedroom at home. It wasn't like the tiny, plastic curtain stalls I was used to. This one had a cozy feel, with 2 big chairs, a sofa, wallpapered walls, and a tall, antique mirror in the corner. I expected we'd each have our own space, but both outfits were already hanging side by side on a polished rack. Becky started changing immediately. I took a seat and began unlacing my shoes. Let's try on the one you picked first, then mine, she said, tossing her clothes neatly on the chair next to me. I hesitated. I was still getting used to the idea of changing around others, especially while wearing new, more feminine clothes. It wasn't embarrassment exactly, more like unfamiliarity. Becky slipped into the dress with practiced ease. I realized mine was also a single-piece outfit, which meant I couldn't avoid fully changing. I tried to do so quickly and respectfully. Seeing her so confident made me feel both admiration and a hint of longing to feel that same ease with myself. Becky noticed my hesitation. Hey, she said gently, give it time. You're doing great. Her tone wasn't teasing. It was supportive, reassuring. She turned her back to me. Can you zip me up? As I stood to help, I thought about Paige and how confident she seemed too. Maybe that kind of confidence wasn't impossible after all. I think you're right, I said. Confidence comes with time. Just like anything else, Becky added, turning around. She looked radiant. Well, what do you think? You look amazing, I replied sincerely. Now hurry up and get changed, she grinned. We stepped out together to show Aunt Monica our outfits. She was still on a call, but Becky waved to get her attention. Monica smiled and walked toward us, still talking. She paused a few feet away, covering the phone briefly. Becky, dear thing. Without missing a beat, Becky walked forward, spun, struck a pose, walked back, and struck another. It was like watching someone on a runway. Then Aunt Monica gestured toward me. Your turn. I tried my best to copy what Becky had done. I only made it halfway before Monica paused her call again. Hold on, Becky. Teach your sister how to model a dress properly. Then she turned away, phone to her ear again. Becky came to my side and whispered directions. Short steps. Keep your feet aligned. Stay tall, head up, shoulders square. Walk like you belong there. Grace, not hesitation. It felt odd at first, but I followed her advice. After a couple of practice tries, she gave me a nod of approval. When Aunt Monica turned around again, I did my walk. With each step, I felt the dress move naturally with me, light, smooth, and flowing. At the end of the walk, I turned back with pride and looked to Monica. She smiled, cupping the phone again. Exquisite. Then she turned away and continued her call. The word stayed with me. Becky smiled and took my hand. Come on, let's try the second one. Is she always like that? Like what? Spending all her time on the phone. Not always, but she is a lawyer. She has clients. She has to do what is needed when it is needed. She doesn't punch a clock like Mom. I just thought she would spend the time with us, not working. She is with us. Becky started to undress. This outfit would look great with a pair of black heels and a small black handbag. Becky mentioned something about a Prada bag, but I did not know what she was talking about. However, she did get me thinking about wearing high heels. The idea of walking in high heels was exciting. I thought about the women I had seen wearing high heels and how they moved with confidence. I wondered if I could walk like that. Do you need help? No, I was just thinking. I started to change. Becky waited until I was finished changing before stepping out. Aunt Monica was talking to Dave. They both watched Becky model the outfit. Dave clapped and complimented Becky on how stylish she looked. I didn't clap, but I did think Becky looked fashionable. I didn't see someone trying too hard or dressing inappropriately. After Becky stopped, Aunt Monica signaled it was my turn. I did my best to follow Becky's lead. I walked, stopped, and turned as she instructed me. I liked how the skirt caressed my legs. The fabric was softer than the black dress and flowed with my moves. Have you decided? Aunt Monica asked. I was disappointed by their non-reaction. Dave clapped a little, but neither gave me any compliments. I would like to try on the red dress over there. I pointed to the red dress I looked at earlier. I didn't care if I spent her money. You have excellent taste, Dave said as we walked back to the rack. He told me about the dress, who the designer was and where the fabric was made. He pulled out a dress and handed it to me. He continued to look for a second dress in our size. Sorry girls, I only have one in your size. Oh, I knew Becky wanted us to look like twins, but I wanted to know how I would look wearing the dress. I was not sure why I was drawn to it. I just was. Go ahead and try it on, Becky told me. Are you sure? Yeah, go ahead. Will you help me put it on? Something about the red dress eased my nerves about changing in front of her. Becky helped me change into the red dress. As she pulled the zipper up and hooked the clasp, I was overcome with pride. Becky wrapped the wide sash around my waist. I sucked in hard so she could hook the clasp. The skirt flared out. I stepped in front of the mirror. The dress felt like me. I loved the person I saw in the mirror. You look amazing. Let's show Aunt Monica, Becky said, stepping to the door. When I stepped out, the two were waiting for me. I am not sure what came over me, but I wanted to show how confident I felt. I walked toward Aunt Monica and Dave with flair. When I stopped, I put my hand on my hip and struck an over-the-shoulder pose, then turned and walked back. I loved how the dress moved with the sway of my hips. I could tell by Becky's surprised expression that I was working the runway. I stopped, turned towards her, hands on hips, and struck a quarter-turn pose. Dave was clapping. You look fantastic. Maybe it was my imagination, but the way he said it gave me goosebumps. I think I know what you want, Aunt Monica declared. I really do like the dress, but I also like looking like twins. I turned to Becky. Which outfit do you like? I like them all, but the Karen Walker goes best with the pink makeup you're wearing. But hey, it's your birthday, your choice. Becky noticed I didn't know which outfit she was referring to. The blue skirt, she clarified. Aunt Monica chimed in. You two can get the Karen Walker, and Bobby, you can also have the red dress. But there's one condition. She paused. I looked at her. You have to let Becky borrow the dress if she wants. Sure, I said without hesitation. Aunt Monica was being really generous. Thank you. She smiled. Happy birthday. I thought about giving her a hug, but before I could move, she told us, "Go change. We're not done shopping yet." She turned and walked back to the register with Dave. Before Becky unzipped my dress, she asked something unexpected. "You do know what kind of dress this is?" I couldn't recall if they had mentioned the designer. "A Prozza?" Becky giggled. "No, not a Proenza." She began unzipping the dress and leaned in, speaking softly. "It's what some call a statement red dress." "A what?" "A red statement dress. It's the kind of dress that turns heads." I didn't know. That's not why I chose it. I just thought it looked attractive. I quickly corrected myself. "Pretty." "Attractive is the right word," she said, holding the dress so I could step out. Even though what she said made me a little unsure, I still wanted the dress. Wearing it made me feel empowered, something I might enjoy in private for now. Becky and I decided to wear our new outfits out of the store. After Aunt Monica paid, I felt a little guilty about the red dress. The total bill was over $1,000. Mom would have been shocked if she knew how much was spent. She's always been careful with money. Even at McDonald's, I'd learned to read her expressions when she worried about cost. Aunt Monica, on the other hand, was joking and laughing with Dave as she signed the credit card receipt. Outside Dave's store, Aunt Monica checked the time and then glanced at my shoes. "Before we eat, we need to get you some new shoes." We walked past her car and the coffee shop, then several more blocks to a newer strip mall. The shoe store was large, with rows of shoes creating a maze. Aunt Monica led us straight to the dress shoes section. The number of styles overwhelmed me. Becky moved slowly through the aisles, examining each pair. I followed, unsure what we were looking for. She paused to check out a short black boot with a high heel, but my eyes were drawn to a grayish-blue suede Mary Jane pump with a wrapped wedge heel. I picked it up. "That's a great shoe for your outfit," Aunt Monica commented. Becky turned to see what I had. "I like that," she said, taking the shoe from my hand. Just then, a salesgirl appeared. "Can I help you?" "Yes, we'd like to try this on," Becky said, showing her the Mary Jane. "And this boot," she added, pointing to a black ankle boot with a 3-inch heel. "Okay, let me measure your feet." We followed her to the seating area. She measured Becky's feet first, then mine.
Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.